In a remote forest in West Virginia, college students Rich Stoker and Hallie Smith are rock climbing. Before Rich can assist Hallie in ascending the cliff they are scaling, he is abruptly killed. Hallie had to cut the rope and fall to the ground as a result of someone starting to pull her up the cliff. She tries to run away but is stopped by a barbed wire fence and dragged back into the woods while screaming. Off-screen, she is murdered. Later, as he makes his way to a business meeting, medical student Chris Flynn travels through the West Virginia mountains. When Chris pulls into a petrol station to get directions, a senior citizen called Maynard directs him to take Bear Mountain Road. He runs into a car that is stopped and has tire damage. The vehicle belongs to Jesse, Carly, Scott, Evan, and Francine, a group of college students who are camping. When they locate barbed wire wrapped around their tire puncture, they quickly conclude that it wasn't an accident and that it was done on purpose. While the others seek assistance, Evan and Francine stay to keep an eye on the vehicles. Francine discovers Evan's ear on the ground after he vanishes after hearing something from the woods. A strange entity forces barbed wire into her mouth and garrotes her with it as she backs away in horror. The surviving group locates a remote cabin, enters it to make a phone call, and is horrified to discover human body parts inside. When the residents come home, they are compelled to hide inside. The hidden group witnesses Francine's body being dissected and eaten as Three-Finger, Sawtooth, and One-Eye, three cannibalistic inbred mountain men, enter the cabin with her corpse. The party tries to flee once the cannibals nod off, but they are pursued by their captives through the forest when they awaken. The group looks through abandoned victims' cars and attempts to devise an escape route. While attempting to divert the cannibals, Chris is wounded in the leg. The girls then carry Chris to a truck, where Evan's body is discovered. Scott makes another attempt to distract the other three so they can go, but is shot dead by arrows in the process. Finding an ancient watchtower with a radio, Chris, Carly, and Jesse attempt to contact for assistance. The radio begins responding to the group's call, which alerts the approaching cannibals. The assailants set fire to the tower after failing to enter it. The protagonists manage to escape by jumping out and into the trees, triggering a chase in which Carly is decapitated by Three-Finger. Chris pulls a branch while Jesse draws the attacker for the former to release it, knocking him down. Jesse and Chris escape and hide in a cavern until morning. The cannibals track them down, pushing Chris down the hill, then kidnapping Jesse and returning her to their cabin. Chris endures the fall and meets a cop, however the cop is killed by Sawtooth, who shoots him in the eye with an arrow. Chris hitches a ride by clutching the underside of the truck as Sawtooth drives it back to the cabin, where Jesse has been tied to a bed in preparation to be eaten and observes frightfully as the cannibals cleave up the dead police officer. Before they can continue on toward Jesse, Chris sets the building on fire and drives the truck through the wall. He fights off the cannibals and frees Jesse and they escape as Chris kills the cannibals by blowing up the cabin. The pair then, at that point, drive out of the forest and the cannibals pick up truck and coincidentally find Maynard's gas station nearby. Chris takes the map before he and Jesse leave. In a mid-credits scene, a delegate sheriff who had gotten the radio call before investigates the remaining parts of the destroyed cabin. Laughing insanely, Three-Finger, who survived the blast, rises and kills the deputy.